I'm Paul with Bliss Plumbing, and this is some tips, some springtime tips for turning your sprinkler on. So as you can see, this is the supply from the house. And so what we want to do is visually inspect this pipe for splits or bursts, which we don't see any. I want to turn this valve off. Also, I want to check and make sure there's no splits in the vacuum breaker itself or the piping going to the sprinkler box. Then the next step is to go inside the house and turn the water on to the vacuum breaker. And we leave it shut off at this point, so if anything is broken downstream, it's not going to be a mess. When we do turn the water on to the sprinkler system, then we come back and we make sure these petcocks are shut off, and we turn the water on here, and sometimes a little bit of water comes out here, and if it does, we just shut this valve so it builds pressure to shut that vacuum breaker. And once that does, then you can open this valve again and pressurize out to your sprinkler system. And so the reason we turn this valve off is because if not, see, that was left open. So we've got water to here. Shut this off. And now I shut this valve off so that it builds enough pressure to close the vacuum breaker. See how that water comes out of there? That's totally normal. And now we turn it on to the rest of the system. And that should stop dripping once the pressure seals that vacuum breaker. This one seems to be running a little bit more than normal, usually just a few seconds of it dripping. And so if it continues to drip for more than a few minutes, it may mean that you need to change the vacuum breaker out. And so to do that, undo the nut on top, take the little cover off, and this whole piece comes out. See, this one has a spider web and gook and junk and stuff in it. That's probably what's keeping that seal from, watch yourself. So that's probably what's keeping that from sealing, is that stuff. So let's say this piece just unscrews off of there. So that's the vacuum breaker. So I'm going to clean it off, put it back together. We'll try it again. Okay, so let's see if that did the trick. Oops, not quite. So this piece, this vacuum breaker piece, you can buy it at the hardware store. We got pressure on though. Take the pressure off. The bottom piece, it actually goes to the supply. So if you were to winterize it, this would put air backwards, and the top piece then goes to the outlet side. That's why there's two of them. Take the pressure off. There's this. And then if you open this valve, it'll flush. So if there's anything in there, it'll flush that all out. And sometimes too, these rubber seals, because they've been dry for the last few months, they take a little bit of time to swell back up when they get wet again. See how water's spraying out from here. The rubber seal that's on the underside of that is bad. So if you're experiencing problems with your sprinkler system like this one, give me a call, 303-709-2482.